The famed New York City, the largest city in the country and quite frankly, the most touristic, where people come from all over the world to experience the best of America. From the glitz and glamour scattered across Manhattan to the iconic monuments that stand as symbols of the USA itself. New York is a world-class city, brimming with endless adventure spread across its intriguing 5 boroughs. But hidden in plain sight is another version of this fascinating metropolis. The New York City Metro, better known as the subway. For many, it's just a means of transportation. For others, it's a secondary home, a place where they make a living. It's the screeching giant that connects neighborhoods and binds the city together. Hi, I'm Jose, and I invite you on an unconventional tour of New York City, a journey underground into its infamous subway system. On this tour, we'll dive into nostalgia, learning about the history of the subway, one of the largest in the world. We'll celebrate the holidays in a uniquely New York fashion, and we'll explore the riveting story of turning a tragedy into one of the most majestic tales of rebirth. So let's go on tour and experience the hidden magic of New York's underground. The New York City subway is one of the most impressive feats of engineering in America's history. It's the largest in the country and one of the 5 largest in the world, with 1.7 billion riders annually. That's roughly 4.6 million daily riders. They travel along the 236 miles that make up the subway system, and its 472 stations across New York's boroughs. If we were to include the Long Island Railroad and Metro North, the total length would surpass 900 miles. The New York subway system is one of the oldest public transit systems in the world, an iconic representation of American metropolitan culture, which discovered inventive solutions to provide mass affordable transportation to overcrowded cityscapes. From New York's historic vault began a tradition that brought back decommissioned train cars from the early days of the subway. More than a century since its inception, the iconic metro beneath New York City continues to captivate its residents. During the holiday season, it unveils a scenic attraction reminiscent of the Progressive era. Subway cars, nearly a century old, bearing a striking resemblance to their modern successors. As we board the 1930s subway trains, passengers embrace the spirit by dressing in vibrant, vintage attire, immersing themselves in the timeless charm of the holiday nostalgia trains. Thousands of New Yorkers pull out their cameras, capturing the magic with intrigue and excitement. It's an extraordinary sight, even in a city as vibrant as the Big Apple. When the train takes off, the thunderous sounds of this ancient behemoth echoes through the tunnels beneath Manhattan, a reminder of the subway's early days. Inside the train cars, laughter, chatter, and wonder fills the air as visitors pack tightly to experience a one-of-a-kind holiday tradition. With modern technology, we've grown accustomed to conveniences that barely existed a century ago. Take the ceiling fans spinning above, which provide a gentle breeze to the warm, nostalgic ride, a stark contrast to today's air-conditioned subway cars. Or the incandescent light bulbs, prone to flickering or going dark whenever the subway cars face power fluctuations, now replaced by LED lights. These small details remind us of how far we've come while connecting us to the charm of the past. As we step off at 2nd Avenue, cameras flash and shutters click, capturing the vibrant essence of the 1900s decor. Inside the vintage train cars, I take a moment to admire the colorful garments, each one adding a touch of warmth and charm to the winter season. These holiday trains embrace their roots. Nicknamed the R9s, they form the backbone of the subway fleet to New York City's first subway company. Built with a utilitarian, machine-age design, these trains were crafted by 3 industrial giants: the American Car and Foundry Company, the Press Steel Car Company, and Pullman Standard. They remained in service until the 1970s, when these enduring titans finally began to show their age. As I take one final walk through the train cars, I'm captivated by the dazzling outfits, resembling scenes straight out of vintage postcards and magazines. This enchanted experience is yet another reason to visit New York City during the holiday season.
Nobody does it quite like New York City.
New York's subway system opened in 1904, with the legendary City Hall station being the very first to launch this new method of transportation. It makes New York's system the second oldest in the nation, behind the Tremont Street subway in Boston, Massachusetts. As the 6th train loops around the now abandoned City Hall station, it offers a rare glimpse into the past. This hidden gem, accessible through special tours by the New York Transit Museum, was the site of the city's first subway ride, a timeless beauty preserved in the pages of New York's history. The idea of constructing a metro beneath New York City can be traced back to Alfred Beach. In the 1870s, the first test was a 312-foot line that stretched from Warren Street to Murray Street. It wasn't until Boston unveiled its subway in 1897 that New York City set plans in motion for its own underground system. Looking back at subway riders from over a century ago, it's remarkable how much the culture of New York endures. The vibrant, colorful characters of the past still echo in today's subway riders, turning an ordinary commute into a stage of entertainment and shared stories. In the early days of the subway, a ride cost a nickel. By 1953, the iconic subway token made its debut, a response to rising fares.
While underground, a municipally operated electrical railway system spreads through 4 of the 5 boroughs, with the trains leaving the subways in some areas to travel over the streets on giant steel elevated structures. The people of New York may travel mile after mile on this integrated system on either local or express trains for only 5 cents for each trip.
Rising from the underground, we make our way through one of New York's most historic neighborhoods, Harlem. Our journey takes us to the above-ground station at 125th Street, once known as the Manhattan Street Station. New York City's elevated train lines were the precursor to the underground tunnels, originating in the 1870s when the L line carried passengers between Greenwich and 9th Avenue. These above-ground lines spread across the boroughs, with Queens, the Bronx, and Staten Island remaining mostly elevated. Harlem Station stands out as one of the most unique and distinctive within the metro system. While touring the station, I can't help but admire its breathtaking engineering. Primarily serving the one train, Harlem Station is perched atop the more than 2,000-foot-long Manhattan Valley Viaduct. A necessary shift from underground tunnels, this elevated structure navigates the area's diverse topography, addressing the steep declines in elevation. The 125th Street Station is as historic as the neighborhood in which it's anchored, as it opened the path to extend train lines into the previous farmlands that made up Upper Manhattan. And looking out the windows, we can reflect on the ever-changing stories of the subway system. From unique train cars specifically built for historic World's Fairs, to associations with the different time periods that define New York City, the subway system has evolved and become its own landmark, leaving behind memories, relics, and artifacts that trace America's blueprint for urban development. Here, all kinds of people travel, from the everyday passenger to the wealthy, businessmen to tourists. Everyone has left their mark on this incredible piece of engineering.
Good evening. Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and
September 11 will forever be remembered as one of the darkest moments in American history, shaking the very foundations of New York City. While much of the media focuses on the haunting collapse of the Twin Towers, many overlook the toll taken on the subway stations at the World Trade Center. Stations that saw over 50,000 daily passengers. Over 800 people were saved by the heroics of one subway conductor, Kevin Harrington. Harrington took quick action after hearing the explosion of the second plane and witnessing the collapse of the stations. He jumped out of his train to manually close the emergency brakes, which allowed power and movement for about 60 feet before the train would go back into emergency mode. Harrington proceeded to the Wall Street station, where, along with a member of the FDNY, evacuated the passengers towards the Brooklyn Bridge. The unsung heroism and one of the most tragic moments in New York City history.
This place is beautiful and completely unrecognizable. Who would have said that 20 years ago? It was in the path of tragedy.
As we walk towards the heart of this newly constructed World Trade Center station, holiday festivities and lively voices fill the halls of this attraction. The white architecture stands as a symbol of rebirth and hope in the face of devastation. The original World Trade Center station served as a transportation hub for the subway and PATH trains connecting commuters from New Jersey. Today, the station, now known as the Oculus, has become one of the most visited attractions in the city. The Oculus, designed by Santiago Calatrava, was created as a symbol of a hand releasing a dove. The Oculus fascinates the many who visit with its perfect alignment to the sun's angles, where a beam of light strikes the floor every September 11th, marking the moments of the first impact through the second tower's collapse. The World Trade Center and Cortlandt Street stations now serve as a memorial, inscribed with words from the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights and the United States Declaration of Independence, reminding us of the impactful moments that forever changed the landscape of America.
Transfer is available to the M34 select buses.
New York City is one of the most vibrant places in America. It's called the city that never sleeps, and the underground metro system thrives with its own eclectic form of entertainment. From street musicians to shops, the underground has a life of its own. New York City and life underground could tell their own poignant story in the history of New York State. A story woven with immigrants who brought their traditions, customs, and forms of entertainment to the largest audience in any American territory, in a city where creativity knows no bounds. The entertainment and talent found underground can rival that of the music industry and even Hollywood. Many musicians have seized opportunities here, performing at station reopenings, award ceremonies, and even jamming with legends like Duke Ellington. In all its artistic integrity, the subway is a fabric of New York City's culture, an emblem of the city that never sleeps. Whether strolling through its bustling sidewalks or riding its extensive metro, you're guaranteed an unforgettable experience where artistic freedom is not just encouraged, but celebrated. As a native New Yorker, the city never ceases to amaze me. From its constant evolution to staying at the cutting edge of entertainment, fashion, and technology, to seamlessly integrating its rich past into a vibrant contemporary atmosphere. A true spiderweb of connectivity that has become a monument in its own right, even if, for many, it feels like just another part of everyday life. I'm Jose, and I thank you for joining me on this distinctive tour of the New York City subway. Until next time.